Greg Pickle, the bye week has come and gone. I chose poorly as a Cowboys fan. I was in Tampa watching that debacle, but I still had fun. I'm sure you had fun at the Eagles game. But
it was similarly a debacle.
It's time. It's time to refocus on Penn State football. It is time to review James Franklin's Tuesday press conference for Michigan. Penn State is a slight underdog. I believe it's down to 4 against number 14 Michigan. It's senior day, noon kick, whiteout. And he talked a little. About a couple of key things I thought today. One of them being, the notion of a signature win. Yep. He is now deep into his second season. I looked it up. I think Penn State to date has played 3 teams that have been ranked between last year and this year. They've lost all 3 to Ohio State twice. They also lost to Michigan State on senior day last year. Yep. But to hear James Franklin talk about it, Greg, it's not really a big deal to have a signature win.
Yeah, I mean, part of that I think is probably because he doesn't have one. Part of that is because, James has been pretty consistent with treating every game the same no matter who it is. And whether the program does or not, he's kept that same consistent message publicly with the media and with fans. But then what it comes down to is these are the type of games that not only help a coach's resume, help a program's perception, it also helps in recruiting.
Yes.
And so I think that at some point, for the recruiting sake of things, Penn State is going to have to win games like this. So, it may not. He may not care about the idea of a signature victory, and really, truly, you may believe that every game's the same. But you don't get as much mileage out of a win over Rutgers at home or a win over Indiana at home as you do as a win over Michigan at home. So it's big for that reason, no question about it.
I think one of the keys to the game, Greg, and probably we'll write about it and talk about it more as the week unfolds, is the Michigan defense isn't quite what it used to be.
Yeah.
Injuries have taken their toll. They were life or death to beat Indiana in Indiana, although that's not an easy place to play, but they gave up over 300 rushing yards. They had to rally to win. Indiana's running back, who's a bit bigger than Saquon Barkley, went off. Saquon's got a week to kind of just recover. I don't think he wasn't quite 100% down the stretch, but James Franklin was asked about Saquon Barkley, and I think the question hinted at whether or not he's prepared to continue on with a heavy workload, because he's probably going to need to carry the ball a lot against Michigan.
Yeah, no question. And then James sort of hinted at the fact that the bye week was helpful for him getting back as close to 100% as possible, but I don't think he's necessarily going to get there. I mean, it's obviously one of those things where each time he plays, the time off helps him get back to a certain point, and the game sort of regresses him back to where it was before it started. So, I mean, they're going to get what they can out of him. He's a kid that's obviously pretty resilient and young, so he doesn't have that much tread on the tires yet. But, I mean, can he hold up for 30 carries, 28, 25 carries against probably arguably one of the most physical defenses, even if it's a bit depleted in the Big Ten? And that's, I think, really what this game comes down to, along with Penn State's offensive line, and can it be anywhere close to as good as Indiana's was?
Sure. Two quick follow-ups to that point. Franklin talked about, he was asked about it actually, when you see Michigan line up on Saturday, they're going to play a 5-man line. I think they've done it all year. It's a little bit of a different look. Most teams are in the days of the spread, they're either in a 4-man line or a 3-man line. But there's going to be times where you see them, I guess, with 5 down linemen, and Franklin said Penn State's prepared for it. It's a bit of a different look. It might take that offensive line a little bit of time to figure out their blocking assignments. So we'll see about that. Also, Saquon Barkley down the stretch has come on as a pass receiver. I wonder if there'll be a factor in the game doing that. One other thing, Greg, we've been talking about it. James Franklin doesn't really talk about injuries. We've kind of given up trying to ask him because it's almost a waste of time.
Yeah.
I think it's significant, though, that they're facing a Michigan team that throws the ball a lot. They've thrown it a ton the last 2 games. And Carl Nassib, who's now a semifinalist for the Burlsworth Award for the top walk-on. So that means he made the cut to 10, I think.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yep.
We're not sure he's going to play. He didn't finish the Northwestern game, and Penn State's going to need to have him if Michigan's going to try and throw the ball around.
Yeah, we noticed that obviously Penn State's pass rush was really hurt with him not on the field against Northwestern. There's no question about that. I think if he's on the field, they win the game. But, we don't know. I mean, you would think that the bye week would be enough to get him back on the field, but we don't know what the issue was. I mean, the fact that he was sort of raring to get back in the game and they wouldn't let him, I don't know what that indicates. But, if they're going to be in trouble, I think, if they don't have him, and obviously the Burlsworth side of it's a good honor for him as well.
Yeah, and given the fact that it's senior day, he's a fifth-year senior, they still have another game to play. I would think if there's any way possible for Nassib to play, he's going to be out there. So just something to watch out for is his status. Maybe there'll be an update later in the week, but right now it's a little bit iffy, and they're going to need him against Michigan on Saturday.